Hello, lovely bakers! Today we're embarking on a rather exciting baking adventure together. We're going to create a truly show-stopping pistachio, rhubarb, and strawberry layer cake. This isn't just any cake. It's a symphony of wonderful flavors and textures that come together quite beautifully. Imagine tender pistachio sponge, the slight tartness of rhubarb, the sweetness of fresh strawberries, all complemented by a crunchy crumble and a drizzle of warming ginger toffee. It sounds rather marvelous, doesn't it? This cake is perfect for a special occasion, or simply when you want to treat yourself and your loved ones to something utterly delicious. Don't you worry, we'll go through it step by step, and it's quite achievable for everyone. First things first, let's talk about the delightful pistachio crumble that adds such a wonderful textural contrast. This crumble isn't just for the top. We'll be using it between the layers too, for an extra bit of crunch and nutty flavor. For this, you will need plain flour, a little bit of castor sugar for sweetness, some cold unsalted butter cut into cubes, and of course, finely chopped pistachio nuts. The key here is to use cold butter, as this helps to create that lovely, crumbly texture we're after. It's a simple mixture, but it really does elevate the cake, adding a professional touch that will impress your guests. Now, making the crumble is ever so simple. In a medium-sized bowl, combine your plain flour and castor sugar. Then add your cold cubed butter. Using just your fingertips, you'll want to rub the butter into the flour and sugar mixture. Keep going until it resembles coarse breadcrumbs. It's quite a therapeutic process, really. Don't overwork it. We don't want it to become a paste. Once you have your breadcrumb consistency, gently stir in your finely chopped pistachio nuts. Ensure they are evenly distributed throughout the mixture for that lovely nutty bite in every spoonful. Once your crumble mixture is ready, spread it thinly and evenly onto a baking tray lined with baking parchment. This will prevent it from sticking. Pop it into a preheated oven at around 180 degrees Celsius, that's gas mark 4, for about 10 to 12 minutes. You're looking for it to turn a beautiful golden brown and become wonderfully crisp. Keep a close eye on it, as nuts can catch quite quickly. Once baked, let it cool completely on the tray. Once cooled, you can store this lovely crumble in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, ready for when you assemble your cake. Next on our list is the vibrant rhubarb compote. This provides a beautiful tartness that cuts through the sweetness of the cake and buttercream perfectly. For this, you'll need fresh rhubarb, trimmed and chopped into small, even pieces, about 1 inch long. You'll also need some castor sugar to sweeten it, and perhaps a little squeeze of lemon juice or the zest of an orange to brighten the flavors even further. Some people like to add a tiny hint of ground ginger here too, which complements the rhubarb beautifully, but that's entirely up to your preference. This compote is not only for the cake, it's lovely on its own with some yogurt too. Making the compote is wonderfully straightforward. Simply place your chopped rhubarb, castor sugar, and your chosen flavorings into a medium saucepan. Give it a gentle stir to combine everything. Place the saucepan over a medium-low heat. You want the rhubarb to soften down gently without it catching on the bottom of the pan. Stir it occasionally as it begins to release its juices and break down. This usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes. You're looking for the rhubarb to be soft and pulpy, but still with a little bit of texture. We don't want it to be completely smooth like a puree. Once your rhubarb compote has reached that lovely soft consistency, remove it from the heat and allow it to cool completely. As it cools, it will thicken slightly. If you find it's a little too tart for your liking, you can stir in a touch more sugar while it's still warm. Once completely cool, transfer the compote to an airtight container and store it in the refrigerator. It will keep well for up to a week, so you can certainly make this component ahead of time, which always helps when planning a big bake like this one. Now, for the star of the show, the pistachio cake layers. We're aiming for light, moist sponges with a delicate pistachio flavor. You will need your usual cake ingredients: self-raising flour, castor sugar, softened unsalted butter, large eggs, and a splash of milk. The special ingredient here is finely ground pistachios. You can buy them ready ground or grind them yourself in a food processor until they are like fine breadcrumbs. Don't grind them too much or they'll turn into pistachio butter. A little baking powder will give it an extra lift, ensuring a lovely tender crumb for our layers. With our sponges baked and cooling, and our compote chilling, it's time to whip up a batch of lovely smooth buttercream. This will be used to fill and coat our cake, providing a creamy texture and a touch more sweetness. For a classic vanilla buttercream, you'll need very soft unsalted butter, a good quantity of icing sugar, sifted, a teaspoon or two of pure vanilla extract, and a tablespoon or so of milk or double cream. The key to a light and fluffy buttercream is to beat the butter really well before you start adding the sugar. To make the buttercream, start by placing your very soft butter into a large mixing bowl. Using an electric hand whisk or a stand mixer, beat the butter on its own for at least 5 minutes. It should become very pale and fluffy. This step is terribly important for a light buttercream. Then gradually add the sifted icing sugar, a little at a time, beating well after each addition. If you add it all at once, you might find yourself in a cloud of sugar. Once all the sugar is incorporated, add the vanilla extract and the milk or cream and beat again until it's wonderfully smooth, light, and airy. Now for something a little bit special, a sticky ginger toffee sauce. This will add a lovely warmth and an extra layer of indulgence to our cake. Be careful when making toffee, as hot sugar can be quite dangerous. For this, you'll need unsalted butter, soft light brown sugar, golden syrup, double cream, and a good teaspoon of ground ginger, or some finely chopped stem ginger for texture. This sauce is quite rich, so a little drizzle will go a long way, adding a beautiful sheen and a delightful spicy kick. To make your ginger toffee, combine the butter, sugar, and golden syrup in a saucepan. Place it over a low heat and stir gently until everything has melted. Try not to let it bubble too fiercely at this stage. Once everything is melted and smooth, increase the heat slightly and let it bubble gently for about 2 to 3 minutes, stirring occasionally until it thickens. Then, carefully remove it from the heat and slowly whisk in the cream and ginger. It will bubble up, so do be cautious. Stir until smooth, then set aside to cool slightly. It will thicken more as it cools. Right then, the exciting part has arrived. Assembling our beautiful pistachio, rhubarb, and strawberry layer cake. Make sure all your components are completely cool. Your cake layers, the rhubarb compote, the buttercream, and the ginger toffee should be at room temperature or slightly chilled. You'll also want your fresh strawberries, washed, hulled, and sliced or halved, ready for decorating. Having everything prepared and within reach makes the assembly process much smoother and more enjoyable. Perhaps lay out a clean workspace and gather all your tools like a palette knife and a cake stand or serving plate. Begin by placing one of your pistachio cake layers onto your chosen serving plate or cake stand. If the top is a bit domed, you can carefully level it with a serrated knife for a neater finish. Spread a generous layer of your lovely buttercream over this first cake layer. Then, spoon a good amount of the rhubarb compote over the buttercream, spreading it out but leaving a little border around the edge. Next, sprinkle over some of your baked pistachio crumble for that delightful crunch. It's all about building those wonderful layers of flavor and texture you see. Carefully place your second pistachio cake layer on top. Repeat the process, a layer of buttercream, followed by the rhubarb compote, and another scattering of the pistachio crumble. If you have a third cake layer, repeat once more. For the top layer, spread a final, even coat of buttercream over the top, and also down the sides of the cake if you wish for a fully frosted look. You can aim for a smooth finish with your palette knife, or create lovely swirls for a more rustic appearance. There's no right or wrong here. It's your creation after all. Finally, it's time to decorate. Arrange your fresh strawberries beautifully over the top of the cake. You can place them whole, sliced, or fanned out, whatever takes your fancy. Drizzle your slightly cooled, sticky ginger toffee over the strawberries and let it drip tantalizingly down the sides of the cake. For an extra flourish, sprinkle any remaining pistachio crumble around the base of the cake or over the top. And there you have it. Your epic pistachio, rhubarb, and strawberry layer cake is complete. Serve slices with an extra dollop of cream or a little more compote if you wish. It's best enjoyed on the day it's made, but it will keep in an airtight container in the fridge for a day or two. Happy baking!